So, me and my partner Z had the most awkward phone call the other day while we were in the car. It was a fireman using sale pitch tactics, which we would not give into, and he would not take the hint. So, there we were, driving down a back road with spotty coverage. But Z picks up because he's been waiting on a call from his doctor, and he puts it on speakerphone. It's a fireman, or rather, a representative for the fire department. He expresses relief to actually have gotten a call through to be talking to a real person instead of answering machines, which makes this whole scenario feel even worse by the end. The guy starts out by running through a script about how important it is to check the batteries in our smoke alarms. Z motions for me to hang up on him, but I couldn't do it, knowing that it was a real guy on the other end. He just wanted to be informative, and I support that, so I shooed Z away and kept listening. But of course, it couldn't have just ended there and been that wholesome. We both exchanged glances and raised our defenses when the guy mentioned contacting Z last year and not receiving a donation, which he'd like to change this year. And that was just a straight up lie, because no, Z hadn't talked to anyone before. Firefighter, donation, whichever. The guy went into his next script about firefighters needing support during these trying times of wildfires, and as much as I sympathize with that, sales pitches give me the ick. I see right through them and they make me severely uncomfortable. He asked if he could count on us to donate $100 this year. Because I've got the tism, I both cannot lie and do not want to affirm something that is untrue, so I just froze up and I couldn't respond because I wasn't going to agree to doing that. Z, however, gave the guy the easy out, even pretending that he had spoken to someone last year and said, "Sorry, man, money's even tighter this year. I can't donate this time either." And what does the guy do? Restarts the pitch, saying some people only donate $60. Did that sound better? Could he count on us for that? That's when the ick really set in. Z says, "No, sorry," again, and then a bit of silence until, the guy keeps going, saying, Only $25 is something. Can he count on that?" And Z was the only one of the two of us with the balls to say, "I'm hanging up now." And he did, because the guy was not listening or taking no for an answer. And I feel so fucking gross that this happened, not just because I'm in such a shitty position that I denied donating to firefighters, but that they employed those sales tactics. One, you straight up lied about talking to us before. Two, you refused to gracefully accept our rejection. And three, they employed the dirty verbiage of continuously asking if they can count on us to manufacture an affirmative reaction. And hey, maybe normal people can lie through that just to get out of the trap without being rude, but I cannot. Like, how dare people be so pushy? It makes me feel so bad when it shouldn't. Maybe you wouldn't look at it this way in this case, considering it's charity, but generally, it is actually just people begging for money and not taking no for an answer. The shame should be on them, not me, and yet I feel it so much. And honestly, I don't know what this was supposed to accomplish aside from inspiring guilt and forcing affirmation to something that majority of people who do agree probably don't even follow through on. We were driving on speakerphone. What was he going to do? Expect us to rattle off our credit card number for him? Or was he going to tell us a URL we could visit to donate that we'd just as likely forget with nowhere to write it down? The whole situation just rattles me because it's all just a lie in that they reached out and interacted with us on false pretenses. And the whole thing is some strange scenario where most people are forced to lie to get him to leave them alone or be rude and hang up. And that's not fair. It's different when people ask for donations in person. They're no less pushy, but there's at least a tangible limitation to the interaction. Do you have money on you or not? If you don't, there's no pressing the matter, you walk away. But over the phone, the fact that the whole thing was just a falsified agreement to action with no given path feels icky. You want me to say yes, whether I mean it or not, because the real intention was guilt, and that's why no wasn't an acceptable answer. As a person, I don't appreciate these tactics in negotiation because they're inflexible and devious. I would far more appreciate if instead we'd been called by a firefighter, they informed us of safety measures, mentioned the strain on the services during these trying times, and just direct us where we could support them if we felt so inclined. I do want to do kind, charitable gestures, but I don't want to be guilted when I am not in a position to, or to be forced into giving affirmation of action in a conversation I did not consent to be having in the first place. Now it makes me a worse person, but I'm disinclined to look up how to donate to my local firefighters when I get home because you were so pushy and you put me in that awkward position. It's like the difference between asking and demanding. And if people just expressed a need and left the door open instead of pushing people through it, they'd get a lot better responses, in my opinion.